So if you want to just talk about these wines, what can guests expect to see when they come to the Tannin Wine Bar?
So what I've poured here are a couple of our autumn favorites. You know, our wine list always has staple wines like Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, but we also oftentimes have a seasonal feature where we pour wines that we think really highlight the textures and flavors that work best with the weather. The white wine is from the Rhone Valley in France. It's a grape variety called Marsanne, made by Yves Guilleron. It's a very full-bodied and textural style white wine that's also quite aromatic. It gives very apple and pear kind of fruit characteristics, hints of green tea, and a really pretty almond edge to it. In the palate, it's quite viscous. It's very mouth-filling, very full-bodied. And it's really a nicely textured wine to enjoy on a crisp, cool autumn afternoon. The red comes from Jumilla, Spain, and it's made by Bodegas Oliveras. The grape here is Monastrell, defined in France called Mourvedre. Monastrell gives a very dark and deeply fruited wine. It's very blackberry and blueberry, but it also has serious savory signatures like smoke, spice, and even meatiness, as well as a little hint of black olive. Once again, a very robust and full-bodied wine for the red here that gives quite a lot of complexity and facets and layers, which I think people gravitate to when the weather starts to cool a bit.
The Tannin Wine Bar has its own wine club as compared to other places in the city. What is exclusive about Tannin that makes guests stick around and love this place?
I think there are a couple of things, and one is that we really offer a variety of wine clubs. So we tailor different packages to different guests' interests. And we actually tailor a lot of our wine club selections to the feedback that we get from guests about what they like, what they don't like, as well as what they're interested in exploring. Beyond that, our wine clubs are a community within a community, I would say. A lot of our wine club members end up knowing each other. They meet each other at tastings, wine dinners, different events. Unfortunately, since March, we've taken a lot of those events into the virtual world rather than hosting them physically at Tannin, but we're still finding that we can continue to make those connections, build the community. I think people appreciate that they learn from their peers. You know, they learn what other people like and what other people know, where regions that other people have traveled to, maybe getting some insights as to where to stay on their next trip to a wine region, and really get a chance to explore the wine world.
I love that so much. I've visited a couple times and tried a variety of selections, so you all have an excellent variety of tastings and wine and food pairings that go well together. What's kind of the inspiration that sets you apart as far as a worldwide wine bar versus a place where the selection's great, but the flavors here are just so unique? So where does that inspiration come from?
Well, you know, it is a global list in the sense that we represent wineries and small producers from around the world, from just about every continent that produces wine. The inspiration is the small farmer winemaker. Whether that's a small farmer winemaker in a traditional region in France, or maybe a less established area somewhere in California or Argentina, South Africa, parts of the New World. We really take inspiration from people who grow the grapes and make the wines to be enjoyed by, you know, our guests.
You talked briefly about changes made this year, and since the start of COVID to now, you guys have had an amazing adaptation of bringing events online, adapting your outdoor patio to allow more guests to sit outside. Is that something that you all plan to do for future, and how are you adapting like for future that makes this an enjoyable experience just like any other time?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been in some ways a fortuitous accident that we've discovered new ways of enjoying Tannin and new ways of offering our food and wine.
Your guests can order wines online, is that correct? Or they can do takeaway orders, delivery, and can they do home wine tastings as well?
Yes, absolutely. We're now offering wines served in-house as well as wines to go, wines delivered locally, and we're actually shipping wines to 41 different states now. We've created a sister company called Virtual Toast, which is specifically dedicated to creating great at-home food and wine experiences. We handle every point of logistics from planning the invitations to making sure that your guests select the food and wine that they're most interested in, to making sure that the wine's delivered to their door or to their office door, to hosting the events on a virtual platform. Like our virtual wine dinners, that's not something that I would have predicted would be as fun, successful, and as engaging as it has turned out to be. But we really think that there's a great future in helping people connect about the obstacles that the current world has given us.
It sounds like you all really are taking a plunge at a lot of different ideas and keeping fresh ideas alive, you know, as things come about. So I think that's amazing. You guys should definitely be commended for that. Is there anything else our guests need to know about Tannin Wine Bar and why they need to come here?
Well, thank you. I think that that's a great reflection of our community and our team in-house. You know, we certainly have regular staff meetings and opportunities for people to share their ideas and their contributions. And a lot of the contributions and ideas that we've developed over the last 12 months especially have come from members of our team and even members of our regular guest community that didn't originate necessarily with our management or our ownership. So it's really, really fun to have those different ideas, to take those different contributions, and to be able to develop something special for our community.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And for those looking to enjoy an amazing glass of wine and pair it with some food, Tannin Wine Bar is definitely where you need to go.
Well, thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.